Hello everyone, Arun Vanagopal of WNYC here. It's my pleasure to introduce the Center for Traditional Music and Dances series, Beat of the Boroughs, NYC Online. This online series features over 50 of New York's leading traditional instrumentalists, dancers, singers, poets, and more. From Mongolia to Haiti, Colombia to the Gambia, among many others, they remind us how the strength of our country lies in its embrace of diversity and immigration. We want to celebrate these remarkable members of the New York community in these challenging times. So please enjoy these 50 programs, share them with your friends, and spread the word. Enjoy the show.
My name is Salieu Suso. I'm also Jali, but today I'm here to help my nephew, Malang Jobarteh, to translate his Mandingo words about Jalia to the English. So this is the event today is to talk about the importance of the Jalia and the keep of the tradition and the style, and also, you know, the Jali's roles in the society.
Jalia, si you be Jalia sutole banita de West Africa, comme Mandinka ni le jalolon, Sumale jalol sutole, Jola, si you sian le jalolon ka. Bandelu Mandinka te bata bon Mandine. Kanana si Tidio kana bon.
Malang Jobarteh saying that this is a tradition of Jalia is a tradition. It's also living of life. You know, the way of life. You know that Jalia is about, you know, way of life, and this way of life has been, Jalia tradition for so many years, a long time ago, many years, like I said before. It passes down from father to son, from father to son, from father to son, from father to son. So many generations. So he said, Jalia is, he is a Mandingo, but Jalia style has been different ethnic groups in Manding. They have Fulani Jalis, and they have Sarahule Jalis, they have Wolof Jalis, they have a whole bunch of different Jalis, and they have clans, called Jali, clans called Numo, which is Numo is blacksmiths, and Jalis are traditional entertainers and historian and storytellers, and then also have Fina. Finas are poets. They do poetry alongside with the Jalis, and also they have Karankes. Karankes the leather makers. Those are that make the leathers, and so the Nomos blacksmiths those are the ones that make weapons. So, and this clan's tradition was dated back to Manding Empire. Manding Empire during the time of the Sunjata Keita, who is the emperor of the Manding. So these clans has been, decided by the empire of Manding. So since then, the tradition been passed down from father to son, from father to son, from father to son. So that's why today he been able to continue and maintain the same tradition.
Jalia kujamale ta mancho da manti jalia from follow kuda daleti. Ko dada ko bendi kamol ka
Mala said the Jalia is not only music or singing. Jalia is also is a something that called positive strategy. Positive strategy that Jalis, you know, in Manding, they are also people that bring people together, bring the family together, bring the community together, bring the kingdom together. So, for example, if two countries get into the fight, so Jalis are the one that will get up and be in the middle of these two countries to make peace. So if two families has, you know, problem, you know, so the Jalis also will come in between and to talk between them with their, you know, a sense of musical, and also, you know, to make sure that the problem has a peace between the families. So Jalis has, he said, Jalis has many roles in the society. He said he do naming ceremonies, he do marriage ceremonies, play for them, and also he do public relation, you know, programs. And if there's a problem between the families or between the people, he also intervene, you know, to make peace. And also he said, you know, not only naming ceremony and marriage ceremonies, because he do marriage, he play for marriage ceremonies for Africans and also African Americans and Americans. Sometimes even it mixed race people. He do weddings, but not only that, he do public performance. All Americans, you know, sometimes in the public libraries, in the, you know, public theaters. So he do performance, you know, all these kind of places. The, you know, important thing about Jalia, so I usually tell my children that, you know, this is something, it pass it down to me, and then I have to pass it down to you, and you also have to pass it down. It doesn't matter, you know, if you want to do it or not, but the main thing is that it is something to pass it down. So you had obligation to know the music and the stories and history. So if you want to do something else, that's fine, but you also have to pass it down to your children, so that the tradition that pass it down, you know, from great-great-grandfathers, so maybe you can say 800 years ago, so the tradition been passing down. It didn't die. The reason why it didn't die, because it passed it down. So that's why I'm also, you know, encouraging my children to keep it up. It doesn't matter if you want to make it your professional or your career, that's up to you, but you have to also pass it down. That's the main idea of the main purpose of the, you know, being a Jali. But we're going to do a little bit of style of Jalia, like our forefathers do in back home. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين nama soten tunga jayi santa kila baba Muhammad ibn Abdullah radio rialu nala sai bolu melabe aning na ululalu aning jalia wata damento surakata ibn Mali surakata ibn Jafara wannan yon dolu ka wolu tentu ke jayi ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to celebrate the respect of Jalia, which is a traditional way of life in the Jali tradition. So we call it edutainment, entertaining in education. Because Jalis are not only entertainers, but during the entertainment, if you listen carefully, the words are, educating people, and also the words are very important because inside the music, that's the stories, that's also, history, and that's also entertaining. So these three things goes together at one time. So that's why we decided to do the traditional style of Mandinka. Back in those days, you see our forefathers, our fathers, so when they entertaining someone today, which we call a jatigi, or patron, or chief, or king, because the reason why I started patron and chief, because those are the ones that we have now. The kings, those days are past, so we don't have the kings anymore, but we still have chiefs, and we have our patrons, and we have jatigis. So jatigis are more patrons now. So by playing songs and singing, so you're talking about jatigis or patrons, you're talking about their deeds, the good deeds they do with the community, with their own family, with the general public. So the song that is Jali Malang is playing now, this song is one of the symbol of what we're talking about. This song is called Kemeburaima. Kemeburaima, sometimes, some people call it sorry. Sorry also the same as Ibrahim. But in Mandinka translation we call Burama or Buraima. But the real meaning of the name is called Ibrahim or Abraham, because all those names come from the great prophet Abraham. But like I said, in Mandinka, sometimes the generation change, the words change. So this song is very important song in Manding history, because Kemeburaima was one of the great, king in Manding. So since then, the Jalis keep that traditional song still now. They play the same way our fathers play, our forefathers play. Sometimes you can find it, some young Jalis, they modified it a little bit, but if you listen carefully, you understand. Because sometimes they play it in the style of pop music or dance music or whatever. But if you listen carefully, the drum killer, which is called singing, so you understand the lyrics and the meaning of the songs. So Kemeburama, it's a long story, so we cannot narrate all the stories. Because back in the days, if you Jalis sit with their patrons to perform such a kind of song, it will take many hours. It will take many hours. So to play it and sing it, and especially when they put the story out of it, inside of it. So that'll take whole day. So, but today, people don't have that much time, to listen something. But we'll try our best to give the brief, idea of the song and the style. So, in that being said, I will say, like our fathers do. This is a great song. Julomi yalongo na kumata asimolu sewa, asimolu nyakali. So, abe lasa tambajang killa, tambajang banna. Ana koto marafan tambajang banna lu. Kumfidu banna nintaw sila banna. Eko wasu ka dia jali me fo jira ke teriti. Ni wasu dia la jira mun fana fo jali ke teriti. Abe la ni sawane killa sawane bondo ko bani mari kisi. Abe la rim grading esa media. Abe mol kilila men yalon ko ye jali ya fasa. The traditional fasa. So for translation with that, I'm saying like I said at the beginning, the Jalia way of life. Our fathers used to do this kind of entertainment to mention their patrons' names or their supporters, the people that support them, they make them keep up this tradition. So they mention their names so that they can keep up, to do what they do, and then they also, would be, happy to hear that the Jalis are, fighting to continue the tradition. So that's why I mentioned those, few names of patrons that me and Malang have. There's so many of them there, but like I said, the time is not permitted to mention everybody's name. But few of them, few names we can include the kacha, which is a presentation.
Okay, this song is called Sutukung. Sutukung Kumbusora. Today we have one play only Gambian song. Let's go take one Sutukung Kumbusora. Binala kumuya sutuo Allah bakum saraleo sanote banna jeto sutukun Jadalangan sumana baitao Jadalangan sumana lebi tambalong balangan sumana gafa Tambalong balangan sumana gafa Yawo ya solole Yawo ya solole ke janyala dimma solole solo sabari Tonyala suto kumata sutukum sutukum musorale ngaboda kumbufe bani mfalu wale jabite masutukum tonyala suto kumata sutukum Balangan sumana gafa karesi Jawna lesi boni nyala kambare dundula siani bodula siao Imanu ni damfa madi Ala kana ba jawla dunna Ala Safa yukulofa solo sabari Kumata Sudukun Kumbusora de Nabola Kumufe, Banim Fadu Alazabi de Masudukun, Kunada Sudu, Kumata Sudukun. Jiloni kafunyine kumbusora. Sate to the Gambia kafu Jala Sutukun.
Yeah, he said the song is called Sutukun. Sutukun Kumbusora. Kumbusora, Sutukun is a village. It's the name of the village. Kumbusora is a chief. It's a chief that lived that village. You know, and the Kumbusora is one of the great chief in that area. So whenever the griot or the Jalis, you know, visited him and they performed him, he is a big supporter of the Jalis. He welcomed them, he feed them with a good food, you know, and then because of the how do you call it, hospitality that he gave to the Jalis, and they praise him, all kind of praise him, because he said, Mitala Kumbuya. I'm going to the Kumbusora, or I'm going to the Sutukun. I'm going to the Sutukun, the village of Sutukun. So Bujubajwata Bandaje, which means the good food is abundant. You know, milk is abundant. You know, drink is abundant. Everything is with Kumbusora. So whenever you go there, he will treat you with respect. The reason why I say that most people are interested in listen to the kora than the history of the kora or than the story of the kora, because the kora sounds so good to them. Because the kora has a beautiful sound, it has a magical sound. The melodic sound is every time you touch it, you know, kora, you make people feel, you know, to listen to you. So during that listening to the sound, a beautiful sound, they don't feel like they want to hear any word besides what they hear in the sound of music and the kora. So that's why I said, you know, sometimes people miss out something important because the chorus always go with the stories and the history. So, but sometimes someone who doesn't know the history of the kora or the story of the kora, so they will just prefer to listen to the sound of kora. But someone who understand or know the history of what the kora is playing or what the kora player is playing or the stories, they will want to get the both. They want to hear the music, and they want to hear the stories, and they want to hear the history. Kora is a unique instrument that has made with a calabash or gourd or calabash. So and the cover, it covered by the cow hides or cow skin. So it's like a big gourd. You cut it in half and you take the seeds out and you put in the sun to dry for in the summer time for a little while. And when the gourd get dried, then you get the cow skin and soak it. Usually they dig the dirt, dig the ground, and put the cow skin there to put water there so it gets soaked and you got some stuff to clean the air. So that's why the skin clean like that. So when you do that, then you got the sticks, the handles, and you put the handle on it. Yeah. So that first day, that take like maybe 25 to 30 minutes to put the skin on the gourd. But then you put the skin handles there. Then you put it in the sun, get dry maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Then you can get the pool ready, console, Mandinka. So that's the rings. You braid it like hair braid. You braid the rings to the strips of the cow skin. You braid it to the neck. And when you do that, also you put that in the sun to dry. And then when that dried, the resonator is dried. Then you put them together. You put strings on it. The strings are basically now we use nylon strings, but back in the days our forefathers used animal skin. This animal called antelope. They used antelope skin to make strings out of it. But now things change. People have a respect of animals' life, so they change it to the nylon strings. Nylon strings you can buy it in local stores, and no problem with the laws. And nobody will accuse you as an animal killer or something. So that make our life easy. So that's the kora.
2 fingers right, 2 fingers left. We have one bass, accompaniment, melody. That's the accompaniment. Bass. Melody, that's gonna be on 2 fingers and down. Accompaniment, bass, melody. We have 3 different tuning: Silaba, Ardino, Tomora. Right now we have Hardino. Hardino. Now say I want to go to syllable, I'm gonna go pull down a little bit. I'm in syllable right now. So I want to go do a tune for Tomara. I come here. That's it. Silaba Hardino Tomara.
That's his composition. Song, he called the song Fondinke. Fondinke means the young man or the young fellows. He looked at it that the Fondinke tunga malambelon, which means the young fellows, the immigration doesn't understand the value of travelers or value of immigrants. So that's why he think about, tunga malambelon. So every time, sometimes, you find, people traveling with their dignity, but when they get to the immigration, so the immigration doesn't treat them as the way they get treated in their own countries. So that's what they call tunga malambelong. The immigration doesn't understand the value of the immigrant.
I got it.
bodia leo korote banna tuba bodia. Okay, ninchulo ka fole ko alinte dan tuba bolia, Alexandra, tuba bolia. Kodo de banna tuba bolia, sano de banna tuba bolia. Tuba bulo mansati, babili mansa.
Yeah, basically he's saying, take me or direct me to the Western people. Meaning, because in Mandinka called Tubabo, which is Western people or white people. Alexandria is a city in Egypt. So the singer is referring, take me to Egypt, where I can find the gold, I can find the money. Because Alexandria, the city Alexandria is in Egypt, where usually, that a big deal for golds and, silver, stuff like that. So you see, the singing is referring to someone that patron. He's singing for someone who, usually support the griot family. The reason why the griot or the Jalis created the song, because during those days, there was a big support for the Jalia, which is to support the musician. So one of the supporters in Gambia, the president of Gambia, called Sir Dawda Jawara, and he has a friendship with the president of Egypt. So when they when Dawda Jawara was going to Egypt to visit Egypt president, and he took with him his Jali. Then his Jali is sing this song, to praise the president of Egypt and the president of the Gambia. But the song was even older before then, but because he created a small part of it, to sing for that Sir Dawda Jawara and president of the Egypt. That's why he mentioned Alexander, because Alexander is in Egypt. Yeah, he kind of like modified the song. But before the modification, the song called Nteri Jato. Nteri Jato. Nteri Jato means the great lion of my friend. The great lion. Because back in those days, they called the warriors lion. So it's one of the warrior, they play this song for him because every time he went to the war, he win. So they call him Nteri Jato. So everybody love him as he's braveness. So everybody love him. Everybody call him Nteri. Nteri means my friend. The friend, the great friend of lion. Nteri Jato. That's what he meant. So that the song is not only a sound or performance, but the song has a meaning. And the song has, the words that describe the authentic of the relationship between the president and the people in the country, and between the president and the artist. The respect of the between president and artist. So back in those days, there's a big respect for the government to the artist, and that because of that, the song has a lot of big meanings, because you can dig the meaning back, even before the song was modified. Like I said.
And last question, how has the pandemic affected you?
Kuja mali tinya kwa katunde siri sio kwa mbukata heula control gosoto ba adusala kwa bani ba aidan kambo alembiya samana fo ala sabu mulkanda.
He said the pandemic is very effective, especially the people's way of life. Everything was disrupted, and people are now struggling. So we don't know, what we're gonna face in the, during the time of this pandemic. So, but the only thing we can do, we have to pray to God, to help us, to get out of this situation safely